Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm here to show you, or attempt, to show you how to make these face masks. I've looked at several different videos of people's ideas and kind of come up with my own. So I'm going to go through it quickly because my camera, it will shut off real easy. And two, I'm in the house. I'm not in my crafty shed with my setup because all my sewing machine and all that good stuff is out. I'm in here in the house. So here's one that I've made with Velcro for the bottom part. That's just stuck to it. I like the Velcro the best, but it's got the little wire up here for the nose, and it's got the gathers so it folds out. And I'm sure, I'm just going to warn everybody, I'm sure that this is going to be probably a 2 or 3 part series. I'll try to go as quickly as possible though. First you want to cut your cloth, okay, 9 by 15. 9 inches by 15. Then you want to take it and right sides together, fold it, okay, fold it. Then about 2.5 inches from either side, put a pin in. And you're going to leave this open, alright? So, you're going to sew that, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm sewing right here, going to leave this section, and you back stitch for people who sew. If you don't sew, it's not really a sewing tutorial. I'm sorry about that. But you want to back stitch at the beginning here, and this right here, alright? Then I'm going to take it, move it down to this one, and I'm putting about a 1/2 inch seam allowance on there. Again, I'm doing this one-handed. Don't think I can do this. Anyway, so what you want to do is start here, back stitch, and then go all the way to the end, okay? So if I can do that and start this again, I will. Hold on. Yep, it let me start again. Okay, so what I did was I started sewing right here where my pin was. Don't sew over your pins. A lot of people do, but it's dangerous. It can break this needle, and who knows where that needle will fly. It may go into your eye. I don't know. So don't do that. So I took the needle out and I back stitch here, and you want it really good right here, because when you turn it inside out, this is going to be an opening that's going to stay. That's going to be for filter. So I get over here and I back stitch again, and then it's done for this part. Okay, so the next part will be lay this flat. I've got a little thread I need to, well, pulley. Sorry about that. I need to cut that thread. Okay, now you're going to take your piece here, and it's folded, right? So you're going to bring it down so that you got this little seam. It looks like a seam sort of up here. You're going to bring it down just a tad. You can see, there it is right there. You're going to fold it over to meet. You see that? You're going to fold it over to meet right there. Then when I do that, I take it over to the sewing machine and I press. Alright, so I'll be right back. Okay. So I brought it over to my ironing board, and I have moved it down, and I'm going to fold it over to meet that. Okay. And I'm going to press that down. And I am using a steam iron, but I guess you don't have to. Just give it a little shot of steam there. Okay. See how it's wrinkled up? So you're just going to flatten that out. Okay, once you do that, now you're going to take this piece. There's two pieces here. Remember you sewed it. And there's your opening, okay? So you're going to flatten out your seam. And then you're going to press that. So I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. It should look like this. Okay, so there is, there's where you met this flap when you brought it up. You opened up your seam flat and you press it, okay? Now, what I like to go ahead and press the bottom so you don't have all that flappiness there. All right, so now we're going to go back to the sewing machine and put some pins in and straps. Okay. All right, one step. I personally, and you may not even be able to find it, I just had it. I personally like to put a little bit of lightweight interfacing. Don't look at my crazy housekeeping, y'all. Just don't look at it. I like to put a little piece of interfacing just to sturdy it up. There's not any studies that I know of, but in my mind, okay, just in my mind, I think it gives a little extra added filtration. And these are going to be washable. So, let's see if you can see the glue side. See the shiny side? That's the glue. Some is just sewable. Some has glue on it. Now that doesn't fit, but what you would do is and you don't have to go all the way to the edge. You can leave probably an inch because you're going to be doing a lot of sewing and turning it inside out. And then you're going to sew the seam, I mean not seams, but the pleats. Okay, so anyway, let me do that right quick. I'll be back. Okay, I got my interfacing placed down. I'm going to measure. I like it to go under this piece here. You don't have to, but I like it to. So what you're going to do is you're going to kind of look at it and decide where you want to cut it. I find this is the easiest thing. So I want to cut it about right there. I'm going to do the same thing on either side. Okay, I've got it cut out. Here's the glue side. This side is dull. I'm just going to place it right there. Okay, it does not have to be perfect at all. And this particular one calls for steam in just a few seconds. And, you know, you don't have to go overboard with it because it's going to be partially sewed in on the sides. Okay, so that should be enough. Okay. I've been trying to figure out how in the world I'm going to make this video. And look, I've sewed my, not sewed, but I turned my flat back up. Let me fix that. Y'all don't mind my ironing board cover. This thing is, let's see, I'll be married 26 years in June. This was a wedding present. I can't do that left-handed. I've got another one that looks much better. I think it's got a chevron pattern to it. I just need to put it on. Old habits are hard to break sometimes, I reckon. Okay, got that part done. Now, I'm going to put you on pause again for a second. Go over to my sewing machine and show you what, where you place your straps. Okay, let me tell you what I have done here. I bought a whole bunch of headbands from the Dollar Tree. And what I'm doing is cutting these little things off. Okay. Also, I'm using the ones on the cardboard. Okay. Because there's 32 on that one. Because elastic is hard to find. I do have these 3 packs and I've got some more out in my crafty shed. But you cannot hardly find elastic right now. Everybody in the world, seriously, is making masks. Okay, what I did is I took one of these, cut this off, and then cut it in half. And I have placed it inside. You can see right there. I placed it down into the side of my mask here. And I'm going to sew. And when you sew over this, you take the pin out, of course. But when you sew over that, you want to back stitch over it several times, because if that comes loose, your mask is no longer any good. So I'm going to put this under here and sew it with the needle out, of course. Don't forget that, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back again. Alright, I have sewn and back stitched several times because you want that snugly fit onto there. And sewed all the way down and back stitched again several times over that one. Now what I will do is take the scissors and clip this real carefully downward, but not going over this at all. Just probably an eighth, or about an eighth of an inch above it at a slant. I will cut that, because when you turn it, you don't want all the extra bulk at your edges and your seams and your corners. Alright, be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back. I have not sewn this one, but I put it in. There it is. I just put a pin to hold it. And I put this one in, and I tuck it inside. And when you sew, make sure that you're not sewing over like the line like this. You don't want this sticking out over here. You want it tucked in nicely and safely. That's trying to come up. I should go over it again. Alright, so you see how this is flipped up? You want your cloth and everything flat when you sew it. Make sure everything's flat and running the right way. You don't want to sew this part up, then this is going to stick up here and then be, yeah, you don't want that. Lay it flat. Okay, I'm going to sew this and I'll be back. I will show you, it's under there right this minute. It's about it's somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 inch seam allowance that I'm using here. But maybe I can sew this a little bit since I got it started. Back stitching, the machine's doing all that. Okay, then we're going to go forward. You want to keep it lined up for all you newbies out there. Lined up so you don't have like a warped seam. Alright, you want it to go straight. See, that cloth there is kind of off, but when you turn it, it won't really matter. Take that out before I forget it. It's easy to forget it, but it's not safe to do that. Okay. Now, I'm going to go over it. I'm going to back stitch. I got this little singer. Go over it several times so it holds good. Needle up. And then pull that out. I'm going to get there. Okay, so now's the fun part. We are going to turn this thing inside out through this. Yay, the fun. Wish I could show this while I'm doing that. What I like to do personally is start in a corner. Bring that corner out, that first corner. And then you just have to push through. Don't break your seams. Just gently push through and start bringing that whole thing through. And you're going to have a ball. It's going to look like a mess. Like a hot mess. But you're going to bring it through. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm going to show you what I've got so far. I've got it turned pretty much out, but I wanted to show you. You just pull, and the little corners come on out, and there you have, looks like a little bag. Okay, now I brought it back to the ironing board. You want that one turned down. I brought it back to the ironing board because I want to iron it flat. Okay, be back. Okay, This is what it looks like when I've opened it up and ironed it flat. Okay. It looks nice and neat. Your little straps are coming out, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that. There's your opening. Now, why did I leave this opening? I left that for extra filtration. If you want to put a coffee filter in, if you've got a HEPA filter vacuum cleaner bag, you can cut it to fit in here. It's extra. I think what they're suggesting is that when you go out and come back, you need to wash your mask. I put mine in the wash machine in a laundry bag, like a lingerie bag. I wash them, throw them in the dryer. When it comes out, usually does not need ironing, but you can iron it down. The dryer has all that heat, and it helps to kill anything that might be on it. I would take whatever filtration device you have put in there out first and throw it in the trash. Coffee filter, throw it in the trash. Put a new one in after you've washed it and dried it. Okay, so we've done this part. Okay, now I want to say, if you didn't want to use the elastic, and this is not finished yet, so I'm just going to stop with that at the moment and show you. If you had seam binding, lace, bias tape, you could easily use this as your straps. Okay, just like we sewed that in. You could just sew that in right there before we turned it inside out. Outside in. Anyway, turned it right side out. Anyway, you could easily use that as your tie, as your strap. What I have also done, because you know that gets pricey depending on how many you're going to make, I have taken, this one won't go with this, but some kind of matching or the same material, black, white, the same material, something that matches. You get the drift with that. I have taken about, that's probably about 2 inches or so. I'm not much on measuring this stuff, but I'll just give you a rough, just say 2 inches. You fold that in half, iron it, then you open it back up and go to the halfway mark there, bring it in again, and then iron that down. Then you're going to take that to the sewing machine and you're going to sew around, double stitch at the ends. Now that is the, let me see it, that's the raw edge, I think. Yeah, that's the raw edge there. To get it to not unravel, you would want to turn this down and then fold it. Hard to do this one-handed. Anyway, you would want to fold it, and or you could even fold it here and turn it here and sew it neatly. Of course, that looks terrible. And then you've got an edge that will not unravel, and you sew around it. Put the raw edge in right here, tuck the good end in here, sew it like we did, and then when you turn it out, then your straps are out. Here's one that I've done that way. Okay, when I turned it right side out, my straps are here. This is the same fabric. I just made that folded strap, sewed it, and there you go. Okay, now I left that one to show. That was for, see, this is why I'm not a teacher. I knew when I was in college I was not going for education because I can't teach. I may know how to do something, but teaching is not my forte. Okay, so when you get to this part, or let's put this over here. Just say you've used the straps instead of the elastic, because that's going to be a different little tutorial in here. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to fold it down, and some people measure it. I usually don't. I just eyeball it. I'm an eyeballer. You're going to fold it And I like to iron it because it just makes it easier to sew, and it's not trying to fight back on itself. You get my meaning there. I pin it too. I iron it and pin it down. Okay, here is another one that I've saved for this stage. Alright, so from this stage, there's your opening. That's going to be on the inside of your face. It's going to be to your face. Does that make sense? Not the inside of your face. Anyway, you're going to fold it down probably about, I don't know, inch and a half maybe.